Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I swear I have some clothes on. For those of you that haven't actually seen my previous vlog, I did speak about my first experience with depression, and this time I'm going to be talking about my first serious case with anxiety. So just some of the signs that I saw and some of the situations that contributed to the anxiety. So the first time that I really felt like I was having a bit of an anxiety attack it was actually a Christmas day. I'll take you back to Christmas Eve, and Christmas Eve was fine. Went bowling with a couple of our friends, and yeah, like I was fine. I woke up on Christmas morning and I was feeling a bit ugh. I went to my auntie's that morning, which was really fun. And then after when I left my auntie's place, I just started feeling really sick. I felt really hot. I just felt like I was having a temperature. I felt like I needed to be sick. So yeah, like all this stuff just came over me. So after that, we ended up going back to my partner's parents' house, and we had Christmas there. My sister-in-law came over as well, and we just had a bit of a chat, and I told her that maybe me not being with my family was making me feel this way. And she just said, you know, that's, you know, a good possibility. I was like, okay, like I've got down to the bottom of what's going on with me. I'm gonna, you know, I'm not gonna let this ruin my Christmas. So I ended up just going back out, and I was good for about 10 minutes. All the food was starting to come out. Yeah, I just sat down at the table and just went to eat. I went to the bathroom and I just started getting really dizzy. I just had this overwhelming dizzy spell. Felt like I was going to be sick, and I started heating up again. So I just got undressed and went into the shower. Meanwhile, everyone was just having Christmas lunch. I'm just having like this anxiety attack, and that's when I first knew, like, oh my gosh, I'm having an anxiety attack. Like, why am I doing this? You don't even have to really think about it. If something's going to affect you, something's going to affect you, and you may not want it to affect you, but sometimes you have no control over your body, and in your mind, you know, it's just like, I guess in that sort of situation, Christmas was always with my parents. It was okay for a little bit of change here and there, but when it started just becoming like all the time, and I had all the stresses as well of, you know, people were asking us about, you know, moving up to Queensland. It was very overwhelming. So that was my Christmas. I ended up getting okay at night time, because then I stopped driving and I was like, you know what, hit me up with a drink. That happened. I barely ate that whole day, so you know, the drink kind of went straight to my head. I wasn't an idiot or anything, it just really relaxed me. Exactly what this girl needed. Woke up the next day, I was completely fine, which was great. Ryan's family usually do like a Boxing Day sort of lunch, and that was like amazing. So that was the first time I actually just said to myself, wow, like that was an anxiety attack. So I had that, and yeah, I just, oh, it was really disgusting. And as much as I didn't want it to happen, I had no control over it whatsoever. I think I had about 6 Panadol that day, and I'm not one to take Panadol. If anybody knows me, I don't like taking medication. So the next experience that I had was, I guess, Queensland. I was okay. Like, coming to Queensland, I was okay. I felt a little bit off in between the time of Christmas and obviously leaving. So Christmas is obviously in December. We actually moved at the end of February or the start of March. I think it was the start of March. So I felt really nauseous along that time, because you're in that space of, is this the right decision for us? Or, you know, what's going to happen, and what's going to happen with relationships when we go, and all that sort of stuff. So much goes through your head when you're moving interstate. So my next experiences were more closer to the wedding. So obviously, like 6 months before the wedding, everything starts to get a bit more realistic. So yeah, it gets a bit intense at that point in time, and yeah, like, so obviously I had like a little bit of anxiety, which everybody gets, but I had a little bit of a roller coaster with family members like turning up again and not turning up. So I had that playing on my mind, which is just making my chemical imbalance again. So, you know, that was one thing. Obviously finances for the wedding as well were getting in the way, and just planning, just actually planning the wedding without anybody here. So obviously we have no friends, and we have very little family up here too. But I'd be up at like 2 o'clock in the morning just looking at different things, because we did a DIY sort of wedding, and it was very, very hard. I kept changing my mind. I'm so indecisive. I don't know what I want half the time. I'm my own worst enemy. And I think that's a lot with us who do have anxiety and depression. We have very high, like a high sensitivity level. So you could imagine like having a wedding, I just want everything to be rosy and lollipops. But sometimes, you know, you have a black cloud that comes over, and you know, sometimes you just want the sunshine, and then the dark cloud comes over. And yeah, that's kind of how it feels. And you know, sometimes it dampens the way how you feel about the whole day, and it can change your view on your whole day as well. And it was very, very hard for me to put that all aside. I ended up stressing myself out that much that a week before my wedding, I ended up getting really, really sick. I lost my voice and I couldn't talk for about 2 days before the wedding, and I got my period as well. So everything on my wedding week. That's great. And then the Thursday, I ended up getting a little bit of my voice back, and then by Friday I had a bit of a husky voice. People either love or hate a husky voice. I think it's a little bit sexy sometimes, but for me, on my wedding day, I didn't want that. I didn't have the elegance to my day. So that was what happened on the day, and the day and the night was just perfect. It was really good. The weather was like, we had our wedding at the end of April, and we thought, oh, you know, it's gonna like start cooling down and all that sort of stuff. In autumn, no joke, it was the hottest day. When people didn't come to my wedding, it really, really got to me, and it had a major effect on me the very next night. Throughout the next day after the wedding, I started feeling a bit funny again. We stayed with some of our family friends. We started talking about dinner, and my whole body just went into a bit of a weird mode, and I went so quiet. I felt nauseous. I was a little bit dizzy. I was just kind of going with the flow, like I was there, but I really wasn't there. And this is what I've talked about before, like when your body's there but your soul's not. Bye. And we ended up going for a walk down to the restaurant, and we ended up getting like $60 worth of all this food, because I was like, oh, I'll just eat, like I'll feel a bit better afterwards. While we were waiting, I sat by the wharf. I ended up just bawling my eyes out, and I was in hysterics. I was in that much of a state. I ended up nearly falling into the water because I was so dizzy. Yeah, I just felt like I was gonna be sick. I heated up, I was shaking. And then the whole night after that, I had a bite of a calamari ring. I had to get my mind off everything. I tried reading a book. I tried going for a walk. We tried opening up our wedding gifts, just so I could take my mind off things and, you know, appreciate the people that were there. And I really do appreciate everybody that came and you know, actually spent that day with us. It means more than the world. The whole night I was just, I tried actually taking sleeping tablets. I've had like Metamucil, because you just get like all these knots in the top of your stomach. When that sort of feeling comes up, you just feel so nauseous, and I couldn't sleep. I tried drinking so much water, and I kept going toilet. Just all this stuff was just going over my body, and I could not subside this feeling. There was something so funny that kept happening. So I kept going upstairs to go to the toilet, and that was when my husband was sleeping. And every time when I walked into the room, he was, okay, so he'll be sleeping on his pillow the first time I went in. The second time he was on my pillow. Then the third time, or one of the other times, his head was at the other end of the bed, and he was like on my side. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? Then about 3 AM came around, and he comes downstairs and he goes, Jess, do you know how long I've been trying to get down here for? And I was like, well, you changed your positions a couple of times. I didn't know what you were doing. I asked him if he could take me for a walk down to the wharf again. When we walked down, we were trying to have like a really nice like moment together as husband and wife, you know, just like hold hands and like have a chat. It's a really nice thing. And then all of a sudden I had to like stop, and I was like, I'm gonna be sick. I just like kept walking around trying to be sick because I just like, I needed that emotion to just come out. That was the night after my wedding, and having all of that, like I've only pretty much just like gone over the surface of like how I was feeling. My anxiety was just going off its head. It was just making me feel really, really disgusting. Just knowing like what was setting it off. This is my thing. If people were feeling like that 5 times out of a week, I totally understand why people out there just don't know what to do, or you know, it just I couldn't imagine having that feeling more than once. It was crazy, and I had it again like 6 weeks afterwards. So you know, it makes me really emotional just to think that there's people out there that can feel that way all the time. Like it was such a horrible experience. It was horrible. After my wedding, I felt like this, you know, and I shouldn't have felt that way at all. I can't put myself through that again. And I just hope that people, like everybody else, if there is anybody making you feel this way, understand that it's not worth it. Please look after yourself, because you definitely come first. I know I come first, and I'm not letting anybody get to me that way ever again. And it puts a really, really bad view on my wedding. As much as my wedding was such a beautiful day, I loved my day, but the night after was horrific. After that, I did feel a little bit, I guess, disconnected from myself. I lost a little bit. So as much as you might close the door on somebody, you lose a little bit of yourself, you know, and that's where it gives you the opportunity to rediscover yourself. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, so I've had a little bit of like disconnection feelings. Yeah, I went really, really numb. I disconnected from my home. I disconnected from my husband. I disconnected from my dogs. I didn't care about anything. I had no idea, you know, as much as one day I would feel good, I still didn't feel connected. So that happened in April, and that affected me. I only feel like I've really, really helped myself when in September, and I went back home and I just tried to regroup myself. I'm rediscovering myself as a different woman, to just remember that I'm the only one that is able to change the way how I feel and the way how I perceive things. It did take a bit of a trip by myself to help me just realize, and just time away from my home and away from a place that I didn't really lose myself in, but I had lost myself along the way, and I needed to go back to a place where I felt truly like myself. That's what I did, and I was going out for coffees with my girlfriends and all that sort of stuff, and I temporarily lived back at home for a week, and it done me so much. I am obviously back on the mend, and I obviously just had this, you guys can see that I'm very passionate about wanting to help people, and you know, I've had to change my perspective so much, and I've had to deal with me feeling the way how I was for a really long time, and it has happened over a matter of 2 years, I guess, and it was just a big explosion that I had around my wedding, which is so not ideal. But anyway, I do want to have my channel to be positive and to be inspiring and all that sort of stuff, so I really, really hope that this doesn't throw you guys off, just to show you what I've done to really change my perspective on things. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. So that one I did take a little bit longer putting up, because like it is quite, I'm a bit vulnerable in it, quite raw in some bits. So but you guys need to see that side of me to know like what I've been through, to kind of like get me to this stage of making a YouTube channel to try and help people. So please give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, pass it on to anybody that you feel like can use it, and I'll see you guys next time.